Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Football Brief. I'm your host, Aaron, all the way in New York, and I'm joined by my co-host, Brad, over in sunny Manchester. As always, pleased to brief you. How you doing, Brad?
Cheers.
Cheers, man. Clink.
I'm good. All is good here. Yeah, how are you?
I'm good. You've got a mug. Mate, the weather here at the minute, so
I've got a mug with a ground.
it's currently like 23, 24 degrees here. So like, I'm on the squash.
Yeah, you said you were Halloween do and very much is like the films, but it was like 27 degrees whilst you're out trick-or-treating. That's so alien to me. I just live in cold, rainy Manchester where, to be honest, every time it's Halloween here, end of October, it is freezing, man. So, yeah. Different cultures, different lifestyles, eh?
Yeah, we were in Maryland for Halloween, just visiting family, and yeah, it was exactly that. It was like I was on some American production set for Halloween, and just in this neighborhood where my uncle lives. I'll have to show you videos because me describing it doesn't do it justice, but it was insane. And obviously, yeah, it was like almost 30 degrees. Like it's got to be the hottest Halloween on record. It has to be, but yeah, it was good
Go on
fun,
then,
mate.
what was the best animatronics that you saw for the Halloween?
So one house, so this guy, we found out he's actually a pilot, but in his downtime, he basically like designs production sets, as you do. This neighborhood's pretty
Little side hustle.
you know what I mean? So on his house, he turned his house into a pirate ship. He was like, and he came out as like Jack Sparrow. There was like real fire outside. There was like
Rum.
barrels of rum. It was insane. It had like cannons firing smoke. It was like Disneyland. I was like,
Brilliant.
are we walking through Disneyland here? This is nuts. And like streams of people, smoke everywhere. It was so that was the best by far. People went
Nice.
in. So yeah, good fun. And the family enjoyed it. So yeah, all good, man.
Good
All
to hear,
good.
man. Good to hear.
So I'm thinking today we're going to kick off with a bit of brief news that I've seen that you've seen. We can do it. So like I can ask you something, you can then fire some news back at me, get a brief opinion, and then we can go from there. And then think following
Brief
that
off.
we'll do a deep dive into I want to talk about more of these mid-table teams who seem to be emerging at the minute. Your likes of your Forest, Fulhams, Bournemouths, just talk about them, and then we may end on a little fun facts depending on how much time we've got. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Do you want to go first or me to go first?
I can go first if you'd like for a little brief opinion.
Sure, go for it.
So thoughts for me, what I've seen a lot in the news of recently, and as they're on the back of 2 defeats in a row, is Pep. Is this the Klopp repeat of where there is no new contract signed? It's very likely he's going to leave at the end of the season. And is this the capitulation of Man City? I mean, I've never really heard Pep coming out with excuses before, but he's saying they've only got 13 players, we've got loads of injuries. I mean, they have 3 world-class players for every position, right? So is this the capitulation of Manchester City? Give me your brief opinion.
Capitulation, I think that's probably a bit of a stretch. Capitulation. I do think he's been a bit frosty. I do think his love affair with Manchester City's coming to an end. I remember speaking to you last season, or the back end of last season, and I said to you, I don't think City are going to be the threat that they are next season. To this season, I didn't think they were going to be hitting the heights that they have been. With Pep at the minute, I think he looks a bit not disinterested because he's very professional. He's very, he's very committed. But I just feel like he's naturally coming to the end. And unfortunately for him, or fortunately for others, other teams are actually starting to build now. Other managers are coming in, new ideas, fresh formations, new tactics. So
End of an era?
Man City getting a bit stale. Yeah, end of an era. And do you know what? I'm not that bothered about it. I think it's probably good for the Premier League at this point. So yeah,
Hey, leave that for the United fan.
that's my opinion on that. Yeah.
Brilliant. All right, yeah, go on. I'll let you shoot next then. What would you like my brief opinion on, sir?
I I mean, it'd be rude not to do this. I would like your brief opinion on Manchester United's new incoming imminent manager. I think he's been agreed now, right? Amorim.
Yeah, been agreed. He's coming on the 11th of
Oh, okay.
November. He's got the game against City tonight, one more game at the weekend, and then he's ours. I think.
Are you underwhelmed? Are you excited? What's the thought? Be honest, man. Do you know this guy? You heard much about him?
No, look, like with any new manager that's come in to United in recent years, I've not heard much about them until they arrive at our door. I can go back to Ranić. I can mention Ten Hag. Obviously, I'd heard of Ten Hag doing bits with Ajax. Ranić, we took him from some club in, I think, Russia as a sporting director or that kind of area. So underwhelmed, no. Everybody's speaking about him like he's the next best thing.
But they said that about Ten Hag.
They did. But this is where I can't be underwhelmed because I'd never heard of him, so I had no expectation. Really, again, I knew he was. It was the Lisbon manager, but realistically, I'd have paid him any attention. No. I'd seen his name crop up a few times in the summer with the likes of West Ham, Liverpool, etc. But again, didn't really know much about him. I'm getting more excited the more I hear about him. I've seen him do a few interviews. He refused to answer any questions in English yesterday in a press conference, so
I saw
that shows a bit of grit.
Gary Cottrell, Sky Sports. If you're listening or watching, you're probably not. Back out of order, mate. And for me, I think Amorim addressed that beautifully. He's got a bit of swag, isn't it? He's got a bit of swag, hasn't he?
He's got personality. He's got swag. So no, I'm not underwhelmed because from going from Eric Ten Hag, I think anything's a bit of an improvement. Obviously, he has a playing style of philosophy. So yeah, look,
okay.
Give him time. Excited to see what happens. Looking forward to him joining at this point, and hopefully he can get a tune out the players. I think we need a big personality, and he seems to be one.
Okay, well, we'll watch his space and see how he gets on. Good luck to Amorim at Manchester United.
Absolutely. I'll throw one at you as well, and I'm going to follow down the capitulation route. Is this Arsenal bottling it once again? I know they've got injuries. I know you can look at Saliba and Gabriel and Odegaard. I know they've got injuries, but are they bottling it?
Yeah.
Thanks for the brief opinion.
No, sorry, no, yeah. Look,
you don't actually need to say much more than that, to be honest. That is exactly what I was looking for.
I don't want my disdain. I don't want my disdain for Arteta and Arsenal to come across all the time. But
Edu's out the door now as well. So is this the start of the end before it even ever actually got started? I mean, an FA Cup in 5 years tenure. It's a bit disappointing, isn't it?
So, yeah. For me, with Edu leaving, and I could be reading too much into this, that seems to me that there might be something going on behind closed doors. Why would you leave? I know he's got a nice offer from the Nottingham Forest owner to sort of front up his sort of empire.
Well, he's joining his football family essentially. He's got involvement obviously with Forest, but also other clubs. So it's an interesting challenge.
Why would you not wait until the end of the season, maybe, if you've got something to see through at Arsenal? I look at Edu's stats. I look at almost 800 million spent, just shy of that. One FA Cup. Success or failure? I don't know. At the minute, I think failure's too harsh, but I don't think he's been a success personally. So, and I think
he has in terms of the culture shift in Arsenal. I think there has been a culture shift. I'm going to add balance here. And apparently he's on the training ground on a daily basis. So I think he's got a very good connection with the players. He's very business-minded, but also a people person. So I think he's going to be a big hole. So whilst they might not have won trophies, I mean, you can look at the whole of Arsenal, the manager, the players, and everybody else in the back room, the owners, and question that. But, they've been there or thereabouts. So I think to add balance, whether or not he's good or not, I think he'll be a huge miss to the club.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be a huge miss. My point is, how's that then going to affect Arteta, who already seems to be wavering slightly, and then you couple that with Edu, sort of his right-hand man, now leaving. They've had a good relationship this whole time, and I agree with you. I think there's been a definitely good culture shift there, and that's been down to the two of them. So I'm intrigued to see where they go next. Are they bottling it? I was being a bit funny. I don't think they're bottling it. I just think they've had injuries. other teams are now performing. They'll still be up there and about, but they're going through a bit of a purple patch at the minute. So we'll see. I'm intrigued to see how Arteta gets them out of it, to see what he's made of. So yeah,
Some Arsenal bottle jobs, yeah.
yeah, always. Okay, got one more for you, and then we'll move swiftly on. Chris Burchall, ex Port Vale player, I think he's been fast tracked by the PGMOL. He is in talks or in training to become a referee, and that would make him I believe, one of the first ex-players to become a referee. Now, obviously, referees get a lot of scrutiny, and there's a lot of talk about players being in VAR, making decisions there, because apparently referees can't do the job that ex-players could do. So, just thought it was an interesting move, an interesting space for him to be going into, and we don't hear a lot about ex-players going into that sort of role. So, just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, look, I think well done to Chris Burchall, firstly, for going through the process to become a registered referee. It'll be interesting to see what level is it. Premier League level, did you say, or is it just a qualified referee?
But he's going through the PGMOL training, so I assume that'll mean. I mean, I don't think you start at the Premier League. I think you've got to work your way up. So he may be in the Football League, and I think you have to bank a certain amount of games. I heard.
It's great to hear. It's great to hear. I think we do need more ex-players in there. It adds balance, and they retire young whilst they're still fit and capable of following the game as referees need to be. Overall, does it fix the immediate problem, which is the standard of the refereeing in the Premier League is absolutely woeful. All VAR has done is made the refs lazier, and I'm sick to death of it. Whenever I'm watching European games and VAR is involved, the decisions seem to get made extremely quickly. Offside checks are done very quickly. You haven't got 3-4 minute gaps. It all seems at the moment, the delay in putting your flag up, just flag it if you're way offside. I get the point if it's close, but we're seeing some people that are way offside and it's not getting flagged, for another 10, 15 seconds, which invites injury and challenges. So something needs to be done. I think it's a good start, but it's obviously not going to be an immediate fix. I think the more players we can probably get through there, or just the more quality referees that we can get through the training, I think is only going to benefit us, because English refereeing standards at the moment, I think, are one of the lowest across Europe. Mm-hmm. And you look at Euros, World Cups, they're very succinct, very quick with the decisions. So
why is that?
I've been watching the Championship recently. I think our refs have. I think, like with anything, you can look at English managers. I think in the Premier League, there's 6 Spanish managers. I think it's because it's a reflection of the standard of European managers, European refereeing. We call ourselves the best league, but actually over the last couple of years, the Premier League's been involved in some horribly messy legal disputes. And I think we've got 6 Spanish managers in the Premier League. We've got 3 English or British managers in the Premier League at the moment. So I just think we're lacking in all departments versus the rest of Europe, unfortunately, at the moment, in terms of our quality and our standards.
Yeah, no, I think, that's fair. That's a thank you for that. I think with him going in and doing this, it's hopefully going to make other players, ex-players, want to do the same. If he can sort of talk about his experience, if he can maybe, sort of fly the flag for ex-players becoming referees and has more knowledge about it, he may influence others to do the same. So I think it's an interesting move, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it materializes over the coming months, years.
Absolutely. Just a quick one as well. It's not really an opinion, just a little mention. I'm a United fan, of course, but I've got to add balance. Somebody I'm extremely impressed with after 10 games. I know we're only kind of, a quarter kind of ish of the way through the season. But after 10 games, Liverpool are extremely impressive. I think they're title contenders, massive title contenders.
They are.
The game against Brighton, when they went 1-0 down, Brighton are a really good side, play amazing football at the moment, and some incredible passages of play, very difficult to play against. And they came back, they dug in. It wasn't one of the best performances, but when you can win against good teams, even when you're not at your best, you're on to a good season ahead. So I think if they can keep the stability they've got, assuming that they can, get a few contracts and in the background issues out of the way, just a little mention to well done Arnie Slot, clap, clap.
Agreed. Clap, clap. I think just quickly as well, he's just been very, very clever. He's not come in and tried to reinvent the wheel. He's seen he's got a good squad there. He's got a good structure, and he's just been sensible. and he's just getting the best out of them. Mo Salah has decided that he wants to, be a world beater again, and I think, a lot of credit goes to Arne Slot for really engaging the players. So, yeah, Liverpool, and Liverpool fans
they need to
watching and
pin him
listening,
down, really.
you are, you are a threat, and you are title challengers. So, congratulations to them. Right, I think that concludes our brief opinions, and to a more deep dive of a discussion and something I think that we spoke about, sort of off camera and sort of the last few days. These mid-table teams, mid-table, no disrespect to these teams that we're going to mention, but notoriously you're not challenging in the top six. Fulham, Brentford, arguably, Forest, Bournemouth, Brighton. What's the correlation here with these teams? And quickly before we get into that, did you see the game last night between Fulham and Brentford?
Did, yeah. It's a good game. Very good game with some very good football played. I suppose to add a bit of balance, some of those very much are still mid-table clubs. Forest, we have to highlight, head and shoulders above the rest of them, as Forest currently sitting in third.
Yeah.
Brighton are in eighth. I mean, Brighton, it's not unexpected from they're always thereabouts. They've had a few really good seasons and under different managers. So it's just, again, club football playing style that gets implemented when they take in a new coach. Something the Ineos boys are trying to do at United. But they're eighth. You've got Fulham ninth, Bournemouth 10th, Brentford 12th. So they very much still are mid-table clubs after 10 games. But Forest, as a special mention, wow, what a start they've had. Who's swapped Chris Wood and Haaland's boots over in the dressing room in the summer break? Because he's turned into a world beater all of a sudden.
I mean, it's Nuno, isn't it? I think we've always raved about Nuno. Obviously, me being a Villa fan and him being the old Wolves manager, I used to, see them quite a lot, or I know a lot of their fans, and used to speak highly of him, especially in the Championship when he got promoted. And he's got a very good way about him, a very good ethos and a culture that he wants, an identity to play. I think Tottenham, he never got a real chance, but then who does get a chance at Tottenham? I think Tottenham's semi-flawed already, but, they're doing better now. So yeah, I think he needs a lot of credit. I think the sort of pattern I'm noticing with these clubs, Bournemouth, Brighton, Forest, they're well run, from the top. The board are really,
Evangelos Marinakis, man, I know he got a recent ban for spitting at referees.
Yeah.
Dirty thing, Evangelos, man, sort it out. But he does bits, man. He's got obviously a wider footballing group as well, and a wider sports club ownership. So yeah, the guy knows what he's doing, obviously.
Yeah, you can't fault his ambition or knock his ambition. And I think, Brighton are well versed in, we know about them and how they run their club, very well run. And I think Bournemouth, very well run. And also what I love about these appointments, the board's appointment of managers, they're very, very well thought through. This Brighton manager, I'd never heard of him, but he seems to be steady, seems to be sensible. Bournemouth manager, never heard of him, steady, sensible. Obviously Nuno for Forest, we know about. I know Brentford aren't quite there, but I do think they're a good club. I think Thomas Frank's got them running well. I think, in terms of ownership, they're just very tidy. And I know Bournemouth aren't quite up there. I mean, they're eighth, which is great, but they beat Arsenal. They drew against Villa. They beat Man City. Like, that's no fluke. So
no, not at all.
These teams are, the Premiership's always been challenging, but I do think there's like this group of teams who are really starting to now, trying to break into that top six, and it's better for the league, and it's just better for the neutral and better for us to watch. But it's it's just, I think
I'm enjoying watching them this season. Look, I think they've been sensible in the summer. You've got a couple of ex-United players there in Anthony Elanga and Alex Moreno. Elanga I always knew was a decent player. We say not United standard, but actually he's currently got a club up to third that some people would say shouldn't be there. I personally think Forest are a big club. Going back to the Brian Clough days, they've won European Cup. So yeah, I think they need to be recognised, and it's about time they started living up to the stature of the size of club they are. But Elanga, Moreno, to mention a couple, obviously got Chris Wood, who's doing bits. Gibbs White's been a great signing. Hudson-Odoi seems to have come back from the dead after leaving Chelsea and doing nothing. Ward-Prowse, again, great signing. They seem to have good squad depth, and going on the back of last year's points deductions as well. You know, it was a bit of a rough season, but they still did well. They just don't seem to make excuses for us. They just seem to stand up and play the game, and they're playing some good football as well. I watched Gibbs White and Alanga playing the other day, and their link-up play absolutely brilliant. You'd think they've been playing together for 5-6 years, 5-6 seasons. So, yeah, just extremely impressed. And I hope actually they keep doing well. It's about time the Big Six got disrupted.
Yeah, they've got a very good attacking force. Forest have.
They doing a Villa. Are they doing a Villa and going to finish top 4? What's going on there,
I was about to say, right, I'll be honest. They ain't going to stay there. I like Forest. I do like Forest. And
well, if Arsenal and Arsenal City keep losing, mate, if they're in capitulation zone, then who knows?
They won't stay there. I just can't see it. I would love it to happen, but if I'm being honest and I'm going with my gut, Forest will drop off. I'm not saying they'll drop low, but they ain't going to stay around the top 4. I'm sorry.
We'll see. I reckon they'll challenge top 6 this season. I really do, and we'll mark this down. Where are you going to say they're finishing? I'm going to say between 6 and I'm going to say between 5 and 7. They're going to finish between 5 and 7.
Wow. I'm going to have them at 8.
You're having them at 8. All right. Aaron, 8. Jot that down. One thing to mention as well, I suppose, just as a little mention as we're talking about nice football, is Chelsea. Moresco's come in, hasn't he? He's done a job. They took him from Leicester. They knew what they wanted. Obviously, United played them on Sunday. They're just playing nice football, man. They all work together as a team. They're young. They're hungry. I think we could be seeing a resurgence of, you know, Chelsea coming back and hopefully getting their stuff together over the next few years and starting to challenge again.
Why is that hopefully?
Because they've not really done anything since Tuchel, have they? Hopefully we get back to the good old days of United and Chelsea battling it out. You know, the Arsenal, the Cities of the world can just drop off.
When are you going to accept it as a United fan that your day's done, man? You've had your little dynasty, right?
Nah, Ruben Amorim's going to come
back
in.
To Fergie days, you're done.
Nah. Ruben Amorim's going to come in. He's going to come in.
Oh God!
We're going to see an immediate response.
Just like Mourinho.
Look, we're pre-recording this an hour before Sporting Lisbon kick off with Manchester City. If he beats Man City tonight, I'm going to start calling him Sir Ruben Amorim. That's it. Done.
I'm going to clip this. I'll clip this.
Well,
okay, that's
so
fine.
Ruben Amorim, come to United. If he beats City, I'm going to watch the game. I'm going to see how he sets up tactically. Hey, look, give it 6 months. We'll probably end up with about half of the bloody Sporting Lisbon squad. Do you know what I mean? We did it with Ten Hag. We've got half of Ajax in there, so.
Don't slide. I think it's exciting times for United, but it always is when the new manager comes in. But he does seem like he's got a bit about him, and I think he seems like he's ready for the challenge of Manchester United and trying to take the club back to where it was, or at least just put it on a path to get to there. You know what I mean? I think at the minute you've been so disillusioned and these sort of false names, your Ten Hags, your Ranjiks, your Van Gaal wasn't a false name, but like.
No, but he kept every interview was on retiring in 3 years. Where's the long-term plan there?
Yeah,
anyway, come on. We've had a nice conversation here. I don't want to get onto United, right?
You do know Amorim was he's been at Manchester United before on an internship, or he was doing like an internship for one of his degrees. And while Mourinho was in charge, and he came over for a week at Carrington, and so there's a picture of Mourinho which has resurfaced and is doing the rounds on socials, but.
Also, only because you mentioned him, and we'll finish.
I know you're going to say.
What is Mourinho playing at, man? Did he get sent off in his game last week?
I think he got sent, but did you see?
He was against United.
No, well, that was one thing. But then, did you see the 8-minute rant he did, or like 8-minute interview? But him just basically going in on like the standard of Turkish football and the refereeing and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, you see. I don't know what. Is he losing it? Is he lost it? Is he?
That's just typical Mourinho. Look, when you know what he's like, he kicks out at everybody. This is why we love him. We miss him. Did you see the interview? It might have even been with Gary Cottrell again, actually, when they were sat on the water feature.
No.
Okay, give that a watch. But he basically sat there saying, "Yeah, look, I'm not going to talk about my next job. However, I'd love to come back to the Premier League, and I'll discuss it. For the next 2 years, I'm here. I'm Galatasaray through and through."
Was that when he was
Um,
saying like, "I'm going to go, but when I do come back, I'm going to go to a club that's not in the
that's
Champions"?
not in Europe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I saw. Yeah, I saw like clips of it. Um,
Coming back
he's
to manage
funny.
Villa, then is he? Yeah.
He's funny, isn't he? Huh?
Coming back to manage Villa, then is he? Yeah.
No, no. You know,
Final note. Final note. It's been a bad week for you boys, hasn't it?
Do we have to talk about Villa? Can we just talk about Ayr United instead? My second team, the honest men, Ayr United. Guys, if you're watching, you lost on the weekend and you were top of the table for a while. We're now third, but can we just fix up, please, Ayr United? Go into Ayr,
Also,
back in
whilst
the
we're on the
next.
Scottish hype,
Yeah.
can we just add Ally McCoist as well? You know,
Well,
I love that guy.
what a man.
He's like the granddad that I never had. You know, he's just fantastic. Listen to him every morning on TalkSport. I love his commentary. He gets so excited and passionate about the games. You know, and the teams mean nothing to him half the time, but he watches it and commentates on it as a fan. I love the guy anyway. So, yeah,
No,
big shout out
I
to Ally
second that with
McCoist.
that Scottish velvety voice that he has, and it's a pleasure being in the Champions League this season because he commentates in a lot of the Villa games. So I feel a bit spoilt having him. So yeah, no, big up Ally McCoist. So
We'll end it there after absolutely creeping on Ali, shall we?
we'll leave it there. Yeah, we'll end it there, and we will be back next week with another episode. As always, pleased to brief you.
See you again. Stay safe, people. Stay safe.